I hear voices calling out for help somewhere on the net. My consciousness, which had sunk into a sea of thoughts, gradually begins to ascend. I start to regain self-consciousness. It felt like that fairy Lem was here just now. No, it was probably an illusion. There's no way that blabbermouth fairy would disappear without saying a word. I run over towards the voice as if guided by it. She'd plunged into a minefield created by a prankster, which infected her with a nasty virus. It's the kind that evolves as it spreads and leaves several copies of previous iterations, making vaccines unable to remove it. It's a rather brutal spyware that steals any personal information about the target in the target's node. It's worthless as far as the order of the net is concerned. I destroy the whole virus and send a message. It's alright, you don't need to worry anymore, so rest easy. But I hear another voice calling out from somewhere. I can't just idle around here forever. The man's node is on the verge of destruction. He probably slacked on maintenance. I inject a relief program into it. Get some maintenance done on it. The message I sent along with the program shows up on his display. In another location, there's a troll taking advantage of a forum battle to rile people up. War is nothing more than a form of diplomacy. It's a country's natural right to be diplomatic, but what right is it if you can't back it up? Look at history. It'll show that it's impossible to be neutral when you can't maintain your own military might. Lol, you're really like one of those guys at Code or terrorists like them. I wouldn't say that having the power to maintain a defensive battle is a bad thing, but anyone who says that maintaining more war potential than necessary to put pressure on their neighbors is an idiot. Cool story, bro. Tell it again. Raffle. Do you know how much is necessary? Shut the fuck up and stop trolling. Lol, you mad? Trolling? Despite the fact that those people are trying to have an earnest discussion of views, the troll is trying to stir them up with meaningless words. Look over the parts you agree on and discuss them positively. As for you trolls, how about you offer your own opinion instead of trolling? Stop trolling. This is a warning. Huh? Was that some sort of prank just now? I can't find his IP. Maybe this is he? By admin. He's here for the win. Forum God in the house. You serious? It seems the fight's been forgotten due to my appearance. One way or another, I hope the discussion now turns in a more proactive direction. There's an illegal transactions board in another location. A pound of flesh for 500k yen. The transaction will take place tomorrow at 10 p.m. at the usual warehouse. I can't leave bastards who do things like this to take care of themselves. I post a direct link to the site on Cyberforce's page. What's this unfamiliar link? Hey, this is... I hear voices calling out from all over the network. Similar problems are occurring all around the world to people who speak different languages and live in different places. Why? Even though their networks are all in different stages of development and their ability to mutually understand each other is thwarted by their different languages, they face the same issues. Is there something other than the net that allows information to be circulated at such high speeds? Once a certain number of individuals have learned to perform a certain action or ability, knowledge of that action spreads, even to areas that would be impossible to transmit to. This is known as the 100th monkey effect, named after a supposed similar situation where living creatures of the same species are all connected to each other somehow. Human beings are living creatures too, naturally. There's a way of transmitting information to them that doesn't even require a biocomputer. Whether they're aware of it or not, however, is a completely different question. I wonder how different this is from a network between computers. I don't even have time to think about it before I realize that I'm running off to help someone in trouble again. Every time I do so, I get a strange feeling. Like putting together the pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. Like I'm picking up components of myself that are lying all over the net. And that each time I do so, I start feeling more complete. Aya called me a god of cyberspace. Lem is the so-called fairy of Babylon. If there's a god, then it wouldn't be strange for there to be a fairy as well. In Irish mythology, fairies were gods whose power had waned. I see. If I were to abide by that definition, that would make Lem and I companions. I can guess that's the reason why she's helping me out. With that settled, I turn my consciousness towards reality. Ishtar is treating my body. My new wounds are serious. Rivulets of blood still flow from them.
ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。
She treats my wounds as she continues to mutter this nearly incoherently. I don't know why she's apologizing. My injuries are throbbing. Every time my pulse pounds through me, my thoughts are rushed ever nearer to chaos. But if I'm to carry out my revenge, I must keep my head and continue gathering information. Are you a resident of Babylon?
こりゃ、ひょっとして、ヒーか？この間本当に助かったよ。俺はバビロンの住人だが、どうした？
Need your help. He.
うひょー！俺がヒーに力を貸せるのか？こりゃみんなに自慢できるぜ。
待って、私もヒーに救われたのよ。私も手を貸すわ。それなら僕も。
Babylon, especially its main control center, has many layers of defense. It's not like it's impossible to break through, but there's a high chance that Code will be heavily on guard. So it's best to receive guidance from the inside. Code's information server is very well protected. It's locked by a 1,000-digit password comprised of random character strings of numbers, letters, and symbols. To make matters worse, the password completely changes at random intervals, from a mere few seconds to dozens of seconds. Enlil is probably the one who made it. Just trying to decode that password's pattern seems like it would take a lifetime, like breaking into something with no lock. But I'm he. As long as it's connected to a network, it's not impossible for me. I don't care if it's a complex password lock, I'll just smash it. I don't care if it's 1,000 digits, I'll change them all in an instant. Code is planning their next act of terrorism, just as expected. While they hide themselves all over the net, they'll occasionally let out a public cry for people to take up terrorism. Just who the hell do the people at Exarch think they are? Those greedy bastards rule over the real world, and furthermore, they violated our beloved Babylon. It is by allowing Exarch's tyranny that we ICs are put at a disadvantage. Alone we are weak, for Exarch is like a giant compared to us. ICs, imaginary children. The term refers to boys and girls who feel as if their own existence is out of place in the real world. They are predisposed to working in telecommunications and specialize in operating networks. In other words, Code is comprised of people who act for the sake of the ICs. But you mustn't be afraid. The time has come. Now is the time for we, the ICs, to gather our courage, rise, and bring the hammer of judgment down upon our old enemy, Exarch. All those maggots who sponge off of society must be thoroughly eliminated and exterminated. You'll have the divine protection of the moon goddess alongside you if you fight alongside us, by Scene. They're spreading every kind of inciting message possible in order to drive the international enterprise known as Exarch to the wall. We also endorse your crusade. Grant us Scene's divine protection. Our antipathy for Exarch grows every day. We endorse Scene and will seek specific plans. You have the power to revolutionize the world. We see the moon goddess clearly as well. There are replies from all over the world. It seems that various terrorist organizations worldwide plan to act in response. Even if Enlil is the one pulling all the strings, the one that's currently at the top of Code's chain of command is neither Enlil nor Inanna. Rather, it's Sin, one of the group's core members. Sin? Who is Sin? Sin, the god of the moon in Sumerian Babylonian mythology, a being who possessed knowledge and marked the passage of time in the sky, the handle of one of the system architects of the RPG Babylon. Just by seeing that name, I lost my composure, as if I'd been thrown off a cliff. But why would the name of the moon god invoke such a reaction? The image of that red moon floats into my mind. Did I know this Sin that they mentioned? Perhaps Sin might have been someone important to me. Or was Sin directly related to her death? I don't know. I just don't know. All that's left in me is baseless anxiety. Only one thing is for certain. I must beat these terrorists to the punch and stop them. In that process, I'll hunt down Enlil. Another thing I need to do is destroy Babylon itself, which has become those bastards' homeland. There's another kind of significance to me destroying that virtual world. It'll mark the end of my worries of whether I'm a fictional being or if I actually exist in reality. Even if I am a program and I disappear at the same time I destroy Babylon, I'll be satisfied if I can carry out my revenge. My true target is Enlil, and Enlil alone.